Hi, and welcome to the Balancing Act Digital Edition. I'm Montel Williams. Today, we're going to have an opportunity to talk about adjusting to our new normal and dealing with these unprecedented times. How COVID-19 is affecting businesses and those with underlying health conditions. We'll be joined by Breaking Bad actor RJ Mitte and Direct Energy President Bruce Stewart. But first, we had an opportunity to talk to one of the world's leading neuroscientists. The Balancing Act starts right now. We are so fortunate to be able to talk to neuroscientist Dr. Babak Kateb. He's the founder and chairman of the Society for Brain Mapping and Therapeutics. Thanks so much for joining us today, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Montel, for having me on your wonderful show.
Look, the COVID-19 virus has been symptomatically more of a respiratory disease, but it also attacks other organs, and it also affects us neurologically, correct? I mean, it affects the kidney, the liver, the heart. But you're starting to see some signs or evidence is starting to prove that it may be affecting the brain. Is that right?
Correct. There's some reports coming out from our colleagues in the front line that they see obviously the loss of smell, loss of hearing, but also they're reporting that they're seeing some sort of meningitis. Yeah.
Right now, the COVID-19 is one pandemic, but it may be, in fact, what causes the next pandemic. And that pandemic is one that evolves around mental health. Is that right?
If you see what is happening around us, loss of jobs and loss of security, you will see more and more depression, suicide, and post-traumatic stress disorder. And I think it is really important that we start paying attention to the next pandemic of mental illness, I would say.
Gotcha. Well, I think, I've been doing these things that are called Montel moments and trying to make sure people understand that as we take care of our physical health, it's important for us to think every single day about our emotional well-being also. And, practice some techniques that can help fortify our emotional state.
The more you are emotionally stable, that helps your body to be in very good shape in terms of immune system. To the viewers, I recommend that they meditate, do exercise, make sure you're eating well, eating healthy food, and basically make sure that you are de-stressing.
Anything really positive that you've seen on the horizon?
About 60 different diagnostic tools are being tested. The same number of therapeutics are being tested. About 10 vaccines are being tested. I think it's just a matter of time that you will see new drugs coming online, and new therapeutics will be provided probably by mid to end of summer.
Thank you again so much, Doctor, for being here. Stay safe and stay well.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm joined by Mr. Bruce Stewart, who's the president of Direct Energy. Bruce, thanks so much for being here today.
Great to be here, Montel. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Look, it's really a tough time right now. People are hunkered down. 85% of the entire country is staying at home, trying to stay home. And, they're walking around the house using up as much energy as they possibly can. So do you have any tips that they can have right now to maybe help save a little bit on energy?
There's tips that are always good for any time, even if we're not all sheltering from home. Think about the time shifting of when you're using some of those appliances. Could you push some of the appliance use into later in the evenings? And frankly, a big one, Montel, a really big one is we have lots of big appliances that when you look at the overall energy consumption, those are big units that actually consume roughly 80% of the power in your home. So if those are in good operating condition, they're running efficiently, right? Maybe you might need to step into a new unit that actually runs more efficiently. That will save a lot of energy and lower your bills, which is really important for customers.
What's your company doing looking ahead to continue to meet the needs of our energy supply a year from now?
That's a great question. And the question is, are things that we've been doing need to be completely revisited? And I think there are a couple. Do we want to continue to help customers get availability to sustainable resources, to help them be green as folks might often think about it? And how do we help them do that? Increase digital service capabilities to do everything from paying your bill to switching your service to adding service capabilities and doing all that, if you will, in a highly digital way. Those are things that are real imperatives for us as a business coming out of that will help keep us as a really strong company to be able to continue to serve our companies, even as sort of the energy markets sort of ebb and flow and these kind of unpredictable, unprecedented incidents happen, knowing, number one, that if we have to be back in our homes at any future time, we've got to be able to deliver that energy safely and reliably.
Bruce, I can't say thank you enough for spending the time with us today. Stay safe, stay home, take care of your family.
Montel, thank you so much. Really appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Take care.
My next guest is an advocate for those with disabilities. He's an anti-bullying advocate. He's also a celebrity ambassador for United Cerebral Palsy. He played Flynn on one of the biggest television series ever, which was Breaking Bad. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Mr. RJ Mitte, my friend. RJ, thanks so much for joining us on The Balancing Act.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, man. It's a pleasure to see you and glad to see you're safe.
You suffer from CP, and from cerebral palsy, there are some implications when it comes to respiratory illness, correct?
Well, cerebral palsy, for people that don't know, CP is most commonly called as a childbirth. It's from lack of oxygen to the brain, affecting kind of the areas of the brain which affects fine and gross motor skills, hand-eye coordination, and speech. When you have something that affects muscles, your respiratory systems are very vulnerable to infection and to collapsing. But the human body is resilient. We adapt, we grow, we learn from these types of things, and we are better in the end from this. But we have to be optimistic about it, and we have to be able to see the light in the tunnel and fight through these things and work with our medical professionals and not against them.
We are so glad that you were able to do just that, my friend. Now, are you working on any projects? I mean, I know right now our industry has kind of come to a screeching halt, but I'm sure that scripts are still being passed around and people are looking ahead thinking that, well, when this is over, this is going to happen. So what do you got on the calendar?
Lately, just been really having meetings about COVID and kind of seeing what we could do for medical professionals and people with disabilities, and just really been laying low until people are kind of ready to get back into a flying pattern.
Well, my friend, you do exactly that. You lay low, make sure you stay safe, stay away from physical social distancing is important.
I've only been out once in 3-4 weeks. I do my best to not put myself into an environment where people might come up to me or people might try to say, hey, you don't know where that person before has been. So I'm gloved up, I'm sanitizing, I'm isopropyl all day.
You nailed it. A lot of people don't think about this, but celebrities, when they see you out in public, people still go gaga and go crazy and think that they can run up and take a picture, think they can run up and hug you. So you keep your distance, stay safe, okay?
Love you, man. Be safe.
Love you too. You be safe. Well, we're out of time for this digital edition of The Balancing Act. But before we go, I want you to remember, we're all in this together. So stay home, stay safe, and if you can, reach out to somebody through social media just to say hello. Make someone else feel better today too, okay? Be safe. We'll see you soon.